Welcome to Shumnak, Alaska, on the edge of the Brook Range, with the beautiful Kobuk River flowing by. This is a little village of about 300, and this is our Seventh-day Adventist church and parsonage. We're just arriving, and we're going in to visit our young missionary couple here, Tony and Eileen Sherman, and their brand new baby, only 2 months old, born in January. So come with me and let's go in and meet them.
I'll take one of those too. Give you one at the airport.
Welcome to Shumnak.
Oh, nice to be here. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's so good to see you guys.
So, did you guys have a good flight?
Yes.
Good.
Wonderful. You live in a winter wonderland.
Yeah. Well, so do you.
Beautiful.
Hey there.
Oh, I want to see this baby. This beautiful, beautiful baby.
There he is.
Oh, you
Hi,
are
my
so
name is Hezekiah.
Hezekiah. You are such a pretty baby. Yes, you are. A brand new Shumnak baby. Yes, you are.
We haven't taken him to any of the elders yet to have him initiated, you know, to give him his Inupiaq name.
He knows his papa's voice.
Well, this is a lovely little spot. You're all set up.
Yeah, we've
Managed to.
just step by step done every little thing that we could to try to get it to get it up to spark, you know, and
Did you use your wood stove much this year?
we did a bit at the start, but it was part of the problem was this winter was because we were gone a lot, and so I just wasn't here that much.
So tell me about your Discover Bible School responses.
Yeah, we actually have 4 of them now. We've got one here in Shumnak, and there's a kid doing a kid zone, and then there's 3 in Ambler. Actually, there's 3 in Ambler, but one of them is 2 people doing the Native New Day, and then their mother doing the Discover, and then there's a mother who got like Discover, Kid Zone, Native New Day, and I don't know who all she's doing it with. I don't know, but then there's another guy who just did the Discover. So there's four people anyway that responded specifically. But there's one person here in town. His name's William, and probably like about a year ago, not even probably after about 3 or 4 months after we had gotten here, I had received, a friend of mine sent me in the mail the Native New Day, you know, DVD series by Monty Church, and I just let people borrow it. I let one friend borrow it, and then he got back to me, and then I let another friend borrow it, and when William Sheldon got it, he watched it, and I asked him a little bit about it, and he just kind of was like, yeah, you know, and didn't really have much to say. You know how sometimes people are, they just didn't really talk about it. And it was probably just a few weeks ago that I had seen him, and he came over to my house to help me on my snow machine, and he asked if, you know, if I wanted to do any work on it, and I said, well, maybe if we wait till Sunday, you know, I kind of like to take it easy on Saturday. And he just looked at me and he said, yeah, I rest on Sabbath too. And I was just like, whoa. And I had no idea, you know, and he said, yeah, ever since I watched those DVDs, I try to rest on Sabbath. And I was really blown away because I hadn't thought anything of it since since we had talked about it like almost a year ago, and I didn't think that there had been anything from it, you know. So it was pretty awesome, and he said that he was convinced because of how Manilik every 7 days had rested, and then they had all the scriptures on there, and he felt pretty convinced that it was something worthwhile, you know, and he had been keeping it ever since, and I didn't even know it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Manilik was just a young boy. He had lived here, believed in the Ambler area, and he was a kind of a young boy, and he had been going out in, I can't remember exactly how long ago this was. Do you remember, Jim? It was about, what, 1860s,
1870s.
So around the 1860s, 1870s time, yeah. And Manilik had been going out into the woods for long periods of time each day, and his mom started wondering, like, why is my son gone so long? And so every time he'd come back, his mom would ask him questions about it, and he'd say, you know, there's been someone, sometimes he'd say, like, you know, there was a bird that was speaking to me, or there was someone talking to me. And as he got older, it became more than just every once in a while going out and hearing something. He would go out and he would start to have sort of conversations. He would receive sort of like dreams, visions, so to speak, and of things that were coming about, or God would tell him, you know, different things about the culture in which he was living, you know, in the tribes. The shaman at the time were sort of the spiritual leaders. They were the ones who were kind of in power at the time, and God had showed Menelik that these shaman, they have a power that comes from the devil, from Satan, and that the power that he had, that he was offering, what he was trying to share with the people of his village, of his tribe, was more powerful than the shaman. And so he was sort of the first person who began to speak against the shaman and the different superstitions revolving around hunting, revolving around women when they start going through, you know, their menstruations, and all kinds of different things that they just sort of had power over the people with. And they could do all kinds of things. They could curse people and cause people to get sick and different things like that. And Menelik began to speak against this, and he talked about this great spirit, or the great father of up in the sky, and about how his power was greater than the shamans. And it kind of revolutionized the people. He started going up the coast to Kotzebue and would travel all around and share the different messages that he was giving. And he was also received visions about things that were to come, you know, different prophecies, and about what was going to happen before, you know, the Father, the great God in the sky, was going to come and receive his people that loved him, and they were going to go live in a place where everyone was the same age, no one ever died, and that it was going to be a new thing that was going to happen. He also received visions that white people were going to come here, and they were going to come in canoes that flew in the sky, and they were going to share about this great book, you know, the book of heaven, or the book of God. These books that they were going to learn about from these white people. And shortly after that, missionaries began coming to the region. So it was almost like a ready.
He had visions and dreams about the Sabbath being the day to rest on. And so every 7 days he would have a day of rest.
Uh-huh.
And that became really kind of his mark, wasn't it? I mean, with the people.
He put a flag on a pole, and he raised the flag every 7th day.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Wow, how smart.
And everyone that was nearby or around his area could see that flag, and they knew that he was keeping this day of rest. And it wasn't until a great while later that it became realized that he's keeping the Sabbath, that he's, you know, how could this not be someone that was divinely impressed by God? You know, what other cultures or nationalities around the area were doing something like that? It was really amazing.
That bread is wonderful. So are you happy here?
Oh yeah.
Are you?
We like it. There's things that are hard, but
Are you both happy here?
This is my new home.
Wonderful. Glad to hear it.
just after we got done shipping everything, just after we got done buying all the food that we were going to take with us and getting that bush ordered out, we got a phone call and someone was just like, our friend who had helped us get this place called and said, my aunt decided she doesn't want to let you rent the place. And we were like, oh, so where are we going to stay, you know? And at that time, the idea of staying here at the parsonage, was something that enough people had told us that it wasn't a good idea, that we just hadn't thought we were going to do it. And so at first we were just like, okay, what are we going to do, you know? We don't have a place to stay now. And the idea first came up, well, maybe we'll go back home. And I was just like, no way, we're not gonna, we're not gonna go back home now.
I said, let's go back home.
Yeah, so let's go back home. And kind of just like, no, we're not gonna do that, not yet, And so we just pulled out our cell phone and we're like, let's just call Jim and just see if we can stay with him. And so we called up Jim Kincaid in Kotzebue, and they said, sure, yeah.
Open
And,
hand.
okay. And so we said, okay, we're gonna come stay with you for an identified period of time. But at that point, I remember I had a friend who said, Tony, how do you know that? I mean, what made you think differently? I mean, if that was me, I would have thought, this is God telling me that this isn't really his plan for me. And I thought to myself, that thought didn't come into my mind, although it likely could have, But I guess in my mind, I just thought, I know that God told me that this is where we need to go. I know that God has impressed us, both of us. It is on both of our hearts that this is where we need to go, and we don't know how it's going to work. We don't have a job. We already quit anyway. And, I mean, why not? Let's just keep on going and see what God does.